So UFC 285, Jones versus Gane is coming up this weekend, and it probably will be the biggest card of the year. If not, maybe the second biggest card of the year if Jones was to win and then maybe defend against Stipe Miocic or Pavlovich versus Blades winner in July, something like that. But I think this is probably going to be the biggest card of the year. It's super stacked. If you do want to get in on the action, you can get a 125% sign up bonus by using my link just kind of below there. It's all in the description as well. Everything that you need to know. There will be no individual videos this week for this card on my channel just because it takes me so long to do them. And I do have a test coming up very, very soon. I'm a university student, so I won't be doing them this week, but in the next pay-per-view I will see how things go. Let's just get straight into the predictions though. Very, very hyped for the card. As I don't shut up about it, I have purchased the signed UFC 285 poster, which will be in the background when it arrives in probably a few weeks' time. Because I do live in New Zealand, it will take ages to come. Now let's get into the first fight. I literally talked about this fight yesterday. I've got Esteban Ribovich as the underdog. He's sitting around plus 200. Loik Radzhabov is around minus 240 or so at the time of me recording the video. I think Ribovich gets it done. Loik Radzhabov, I watched his fights in PFL, and yes, he's a multiple-time finalist, but this guy, he does gas out, he does slow down, and when he does gas out, he drops his hands. And when you drop your hands against someone like Esteban Ribovich, who is 11-0 with 11 finishes and is dangerous, and he's not just like a power puncher and a brawler, like maybe someone like Trevor Peake, for example. He's actually very, very technical in his style. He's a very technical power puncher. He's very aggressive, which could be a bit of a problem for him if he does rush in like he did in Dana White's Contender Series fight. Loik Radzhabov will probably just take him down. But I think Esteban Ribovich is going to play this one smart. I think Loik Radzhabov is going to gas out. He's taking the fight on short notice. He's going to have to cut weight. He's pretty big for 155. And also, once again, he's going to slow down. He just will slow down. He has done it in every one of his fights. I know he was probably in shape and in fight ready shape though for this event because he was actually on the Ultimate Fighter Season 31, but I think he was one of the guys that was kicked off. So he's been given a UFC contract. Hopefully all the other guys opportunities, but I do think Esteban Ribovich gets the KO as a big underdog as well to start the card. Loik Radzhabov's hands, they're going to drop in the second and third round, and I think Ribovich is going to catch him. Even then, if Loik Radzhabov does get it to the ground, Ribovich is dangerous on the mat. He's got so many submissions on his record. He's always working for subs. As long as Ribovich doesn't gas out doing his crazy style, I think he should be able to get a KO in round 2 or 3. Farid Basharat taking on Blackshear. I do have Farid Basharat. I'm a little bit confused by the line. I wouldn't line him this wide, but he probably should have Blackshear covered in all areas. He's just super, super technical, just like his brother Javid. I do think Farid Basharat gets it done by decision. I don't think he's going to finish Blackshear. Blackshear's a good grappler. That's kind of where he's the best at. He's an okay striker, but I think Farid Basharat is definitely the better striker in the matchup, and probably is where Farid wants to keep the fight. But if Farid wants to take it to the ground, it will be a little bit more dangerous because Blackshear is a grappler and that is what he does. But I think Farid would still be safe anyway if he can get on top and stay safe like he kind of did against Alan Bagoso on Dana White's Contender Series. I think Farid Basharat gets it done. I do think it goes the distance, though I think he gets a decision win. 30-27, I think he wins all 3 rounds just by winning on the feet and being the more technical striker, maybe even being the better grappler. Blackshear's no joke on the mat, though, for sure. Jessica Penne versus Tabatha Ricci. It's a tough fight to call. I do have Tabatha Ricci though. She should be able to get it done. Jessica Penne she's a good fighter. She's decent, but she is getting pretty old. She's an alright striker, but she's a very good grappler. I believe both of these girls are black belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Jessica Penne, her takedown defense isn't all that great, so if Tabatha Ricci wanted to take her down, it would be a little bit dangerous because of that black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But Ricci's striking isn't too flash either, in my opinion. I think Ricci probably will look to wrestle and grapple with Penne. I think she'll take Penne down and kind of win the fight like that. Like she did beat Polyana Viviane by decision, and Polyana Viviane is pretty dangerous on the ground as well. She does have some submission wins on her record. I think Ricci gets it done by decision. I don't think this one's going to be a finish. If it is a finish, it probably would be Ricci or Penne getting a submission. I would be very surprised if there was a knockout on the feet, but I think Ricci just kind of grinds out Jessica Penne to a decision. Martinez versus Saaiman. A fight I'm excited about. A fight you should be excited about. It's going to be a fun one. Martinez is one of those guys. who was knocking people out like a lot. He knocked out Jose Johnson, who's now in the UFC, in 32 seconds or something like that. Knocked out this guy called Casey Jones. Beat Guido Kennedy, and then he beat Brandon Davis, and both two very close wins. He did lose to a wrestler in Ronnie Lawrence, but he did hurt Ronnie Lawrence in moments in that fight too. Very dangerous striker, but I do think Cameron Saaiman's going to win this one. I think Cameron Saaiman's actually going to look on his wrestling and his grappling. And this one here, I know most of his wins have not come by submission whatsoever. He's literally only got one submission on his record, but he is a very good grappler. We saw that in the Stephen Kozlow fight when he took on Stephen Kozlow, who came on short notice, finished him in the third round, but there was a couple of rounds of very hard grappling and very high level grappling in that fight. In his earlier fights, especially in his amateur career as well, which I looked into for his Dana White's Contender Series match, he does wrestle and grapple. I think he's going to do it again against Mana Martinez. It's definitely the path to victory. Mana Martinez takedown defense has been pretty suspect. His ground game is pretty suspect. We've seen him lose before to guys that have taken him down, such as Draco Rodriguez, who beat him by submission. And then we also do have just earlier wins in his career. Ronnie Lawrence took him down as well, obviously. But I think Cameron Saaiman is going to get a submission in this one here. The second submission of his career. And I think it's going to be done over Martinez. I think he gets a finish. I think maybe he could have success in the striking. But Mana Martinez, although he's got no KOs in the UFC, he's so dangerous on the feet. I don't think Cameron Saaiman is going to want to play around in that game. Ian Machado, Garry taking on Kenan Song. It really should be a good win for Ian Garry here. I do think he's going to finish Kenan Song. I think originally I was thinking about a decision, but Kenan Song's style, dude, he's finish or be finished, man. This guy's a brawler on the feet. That's kind of all he does. I know he's got a lot of submissions on his record, which is random, but they've all kind of come like against not so great competition earlier on in his career. When you see this guy fight in the UFC, he's a brawler on the feet. You know, he's not the most technical striker in the world. He hasn't fought since 2021, so maybe his fight style has like changed a little bit. He hasn't fought in 2 years, so maybe he's made improvements. Maybe he's going to look different. But from what I've seen, he's a brawler on the feet. I think he is going to get caught by someone like Ian Garry, who does have very good technical kickboxing himself. He didn't look so great in his first UFC fight. I know he got the KO in the first round, but Jordan Williams was looking pretty good, and it was a little bit of an iffy moment there maybe for a lot of fans. But then he did beat Darian Weeks in a very close fight, and then he looked very good against Gabe Green. I think he's going to beat Kenan Song here. I think UFC is probably trying to give him a fight that they think that he can definitely win. I think it might be this one. So Kenan Song maybe live for a KO. I think that's how he gets it done if he was to win. But I think Ian Garry is going to use his much more technical kickboxing just to win by his decision. But I do think he's going to get the KO. I think he's going to get the KO. Not in the first round, I'll say second round KO. Julian Marquez versus Marc-Andre Barriault. This is a tough fight. This is a fight which a lot of people are split on. A fight which a lot of people are picking Marquez. A lot of people are picking Barriault. My original pick was Marc-Andre Barriault, and I am going to stick with it. I'm not that confident in it at all. I do know that Julian Marquez is fighting in his hometown. Someone let me know that in the comment section, but I probably should have figured that one out myself. But no, thank you for letting me know that information. But I still think that Marc-Andre Barriault is going to get it done. You know, Julian Marquez is a very interesting fighter. He's a brawler on the feet, but he's getting submission wins recently. He's got 4 submission wins in his whole career, and most of them have come very recently. 3 of them have come in his UFC wins, which is very interesting. When you look at him, you might just think he's a grappler by just watching the Tapology page, but it's not really the case at all. He's actually kind of a bit of a brawler on the feet, and he throws hard, he throws heavy. He does occasionally get takedowns, and he does obviously get the submissions, but he's a brawler on the feet for the most part. Marc-Andre Barriault is a tough guy. I know he got KO'd by Chidi Njokwani pretty easily, but that's Chidi Njokwani, and that was just a perfect right hand that landed. He ended up beating Jordan Wright, but to be fair, he was getting beaten on a little bit by Jordan Wright, which is a little bit scary, and then he fought Anthony Hernandez, but Anthony Hernandez would probably do the same thing to Julian Marquez than he did to Marc-Andre Barriault. So it is what it is. Anthony Hernandez is definitely a dark horse maybe in the middleweight division, especially for these unranked guys. But anyway, to get to the breakdown, I think Marc-Andre Barriault will beat Julian Marquez. I think he's going to grind on him a little bit. Maybe do a little bit of wrestling. His striking's pretty good too, but I think he's going to probably try and avoid that power punching that Julian Marquez does have, and he's a big guy for the division too. He's 6'2". He did just get beaten up pretty badly by Gregory Rodriguez, but Rodriguez is a good fighter. We all know that. I do have Barriault by decision though. Marquez is more dangerous, and I feel like that's a lot of a good reason to pick him, but I think Barriault's going to grind out a decision here. I don't think it's going to be super exciting, but I think he's going to get it done by decision. Viviane Araujo versus Amanda Ribas. I do have Amanda Ribas in this one here. Viviane Araujo, she does tend to slow down a little bit in her fights. To put the pressure on Viviane Araujo, and I think she's going to take her down and use her grappling. Ribas is going to win. She's a much younger fighter as well. Viviane Araujo is a pretty good striker. She's a pretty good grappler. She's well rounded, but I just got a feeling that Amanda Ribas beats her, you know what I mean? And I think she's going to get it done. I mean, Amanda Ribas just fought that very close fight against Caitlin Chookagian, and now she's going to be kind of moving back into the 125-pound division after fighting kind of around the place a little bit. But I do have Amanda Ribas to win this one. I think she beats Viviane Araujo by decision. The next one on the card, if I can use my computer, is Derek Brunson versus Dricus du Plessis. I do have Dricus du Plessis in this one here. There's rumours of this being Derek Brunson's final fight, which is interesting because he said on Twitter that he wanted to fight 4 times this year. So I was getting excited for that, not going to lie. I like it when fighters are active, but maybe plans have changed. Maybe his life situation. Maybe Derek Brunson's retirement fight, it would be appropriate in front of a big crowd on a John Jones card, but I do think Dricus du Plessis is going to win. I think he's going to beat up Derek Brunson on the feet. I think he's the better striker. Derek Brunson, he's the better wrestler. Obviously, both guys, their cardio is a little bit suspect. You can't trust their cardio all too much. I mean, Dricus du Plessis, the thing with him, though, is he seems to gas out after having a great first round, and then he kind of gasses in the second, but he can still push the pace, you know, although he's very tired. He's got a very interesting kind of situation like that, you know what I mean? I like it. I like that he can still push the pace, even though he's tired. But I wouldn't mind seeing Dricus du Plessis maybe work on the cardio, or just maybe not give it 110% in the first round. But in my opinion, though, if he does give it 110% in this first round like he normally does, he probably would finish Derek Brunson by KO. Dricus du Plessis is no joke on the mat as well. He does have a lot of submission wins. I think he's got more submission wins than knockout wins as well. That is still true. He's got 10 submission wins and 7 wins by knockout. So that's interesting. But I do think he's going to finish Derek Brunson in this matchup by KO in the second round, I'm going to say. I think I'm going to say Dricus du Plessis is going to hurt him in the first, but I think he's going to finish him in the second. So give me Dricus du Plessis by KO in the second round. Cody Garbrandt versus Trevin Jones. This is an interesting one, man. A lot of people picking Trevin Jones just because they can't trust Cody Garbrandt, but I think he's just better. He's better. He's the better fighter everywhere. He's a former champion. I know he lost a couple of times to TJ Dillashaw. That's TJ Dillashaw. And also Pedro Munoz got KO'd by him, and then he beat Rafael Sunsao, and he went to the decision with Rob Font actually. But Rob Font's not really knocking guys out, you know what I mean? And then he got knocked out by Kai Kara-France, and what might be one of the worst career decisions of all time, going down to 125 pounds. That was just so silly, but he's got to beat Trevin Jones, you know what I mean? I know Trevin Jones is good. Like, Trevin Jones has fought good guys like Said-Jakub Kakramonov, who took him on short notice. He fought Javid Basharat. I picked Trevin Jones in that one, I will openly admit. And it was still a pretty competitive fight. But the reason why I picked Trevin Jones was Javid Basharat at that time had not fought anyone that good. But we know how good Javid Basharat is now. Then he lost to Raoni Barcelos. Raoni Barcelos was kind of able to take him down and not let Trevin Jones kind of get away with anything, really. I think Cody Garbrandt just beats him. I think he's better, dude. The thing about Cody Garbrandt is he's actually a very good boxer, very good powerful puncher. He's very aggressive as well. And he's got pretty underrated wrestling. But the problem with Cody Garbrandt is he can't really take shots all that well. He's got no chin. You might hear a lot of people say that. And on top of that, I think probably his main problem is actually he's got really bad striking defense. If you've got pretty decent striking defense, you kind of can get away with maybe getting hit a couple of times. But the thing with Cody Garbrandt is his striking defense is terrible, as well as his chin. Like, he can't take a shot. But man, Cody Garbrandt's rise up the rankings was something else, though. I think people have forgotten who Cody Garbrandt is, which is fair enough. Unfortunately, like, he beat Dominic Cruz. Knocked out Takei Mizugaki in the first round. Knocked out 21-0 at the time, Thomas Almeida. Knocked out 5-0 at the time, Augusto Mendes. But he's good, man. He's got wrestling too if he needs to use it. I think he might. I think he might lean on it. I've got Garbrandt. I think he's going to finish Jones. Jones wins. It's going to be by a lucky punch. Jones isn't going to outclass Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt is the better fighter. But the problem with Garbrandt is he just got no striking defense and he's got no chin. So if Trevin Jones is going to win, it's going to be like KO. And it's gonna suck, man, because Cody Garbrandt's a good fighter, but I think UFC will still keep Garbrandt around, because if they release him, then PFL will just use him to build up someone else, or Bellator will use him to build up someone else, you know what I mean? So I think Cody Garbrandt should win. Jamie Pickett taking on Bo Nickal. I do have Bo Nickal in the first, I think he's gonna finish in the first 2 minutes, probably. I mean, Bo Nickal's entire professional career has only lasted 2 minutes anyway. At 30 seconds, 1 minute, and then less than a minute. 2.5 minutes is his whole professional career. I think he does the same to Jamie Pickett. Jamie Pickett is just not dangerous whatsoever. He doesn't really have power on the feet. He doesn't really have a lights out submission ability. I know he's got a lot of finishes in his career, but where are they at the UFC level? This guy has not finished anybody since 2020 when he fought 6-3 Genovan Party, who I believe is 6. It was 7-6 now. He just won recently, but he was 6-6 at one point. You know what I mean? He went on a losing streak after that. Then before that, his last finish was 2019 against the 5-6 opponent. This guy's just not finishing anyone at the UFC level. He got smacked up by Jordan Wright, which is a very bad look now. Got submitted by Kyle Dalkaus in the first round, which is a very bad look now. Dennis Tiulian, I like Dennis Tiulian, I'm a fan of him, but we just saw him get absolutely demolished in the grappling. And he knocked out Jamie Pickett. Jamie Pickett's not dangerous. Jamie Pickett's not Bo Nickal's probably going to take him down and get a submission, but man, the 10 seconds or 20 seconds it's on the feet, he's got to watch out, Bruno Ferreira, for example. Bruno Ferreira's powerful. You got to watch out, Bo Nickal could get caught with something. Jamie Pickett ain't that guy. He's not got that power. Bo Nickal's going to take him down and submitted him in 2 minutes, you know what I mean? And he's powerful on the feet too. I think Bo Nickal's not going to waste time. I think he's just going to take down Jamie Pickett and have a star-making performance. The next one is Mateusz Gamrot versus Jalin Turner. If you guys don't know, I do have changed my pick. I have changed my pick, and I do talk a little bit in my comment section to Jalin Turner's manager, and she does comment on my videos occasionally. And I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. I hope Jalin Turner proves me wrong. He probably will. He has every time. But man, it's just a nightmare matchup for him, He was preparing for Dan Hooker, Mateusz Gamrot, one of the best pure wrestlers in the lightweight division, one of the best pure wrestlers, maybe even in the UFC right now, to be honest. He's that good at wrestling. I think he's just going to take down Jalin Turner and win a decision. I think that's what happens in this matchup. Maybe there's a couple of submission attempts from Jalin, or Jalin Turner, sorry. I keep saying his name wrong, but Jalin Turner, I think Jalin Turner's so live on the feet for a knockout, and that's why I was picking him, and he's so massive compared to Gamrot too. He's 6'3", but I can just see Mateusz Gamrot shooting on the legs of Jalin Turner and getting him down, and grinding out a decision, maybe working for a submission, but it's such not a confident pick at all. He beat Arman Tsarukyan, but then before that, the Diego Ferreira fight, he wasn't looking incredible, but then he ended up getting the TKO due to that knee. Beat Jeremy Stevens up, but that kind of happens. It's just a rough one, man. Mateusz Gamrot's so good, but in the UFC, he's had a couple of performances that haven't really been super impressive. I think he beats Jalin Turner though on short notice too. He wouldn't take this fight if he didn't think he was going to win. And Jalin Turner, he's got that power, man. He's got that power to knock out Gamrot. I do have Gamrot by decision, though. I think he's just going to take down Jalin Turner. But, man, I hope Jalin Turner wins because he's so exciting. He'll be such an exciting addition to the top 10 of lightweight. Jeff Neal taking on Shavkat Rakhmonov. I've got Shavkat Rakhmonov here. A little bit maybe of a controversial one, though, because I think he's actually going to win the first decision of his career. I believe Shavkat Rakhmonov has 8 KOs. He's got 8 submissions. But Jeff Neal's a tough guy. I don't think Shavkat's going to be able to knock him out. Jeff Neal's got really good boxing, too. I just don't think Shavkat's going to find the shots that would knock out Jeff Neal. And on the ground, Jeff Neal, he's not really the best grappler in the world, but he's still a competent grappler. And I think he's going to be defensively sound enough to avoid submission attempts from Shavkat Rakhmonov when they do come. Shavkat's going to be looking for the finish, but I just don't think he's going to get it, man. I do think Shavkat wins a dominant decision, but I just don't see Jeff Neal getting finished. But Jeff Neal's a tough guy, you know what I mean? He's never, he's been finished before, sorry. He's been finished by first round KO, like third round KO, way back in his Greek by Kevin Holland, and then the GOAT, is this actually the GOAT, Martin Sano? Yeah, it is the GOAT, Martin Sano. I got submitted by him. But, sorry, got a little bit sidetracked. But, no, I've got Shavkat Rakhmonov. I think if he's going to win by a finish, it would be a submission, because I think Shavkat is going to look to use the wrestling and grappling in this matchup. You know what? No, I'm going with Shavkat submission. You know what? Let's just do it. Let's make it exciting. Shavkat submission's the pick. I think I wouldn't be surprised if it went the distance, though, but I do have Shavkat Rakhmonov by submission. In the third round, I don't think it's going to be a first round sub. I don't think it's going to be a dominant second round sub. I think it's going to be a third round submission after dominating the first 2 rounds using the wrestling. I think he's definitely going to wrestle with Jeff Neal in this matchup. The next one is Valentina Shevchenko taking on Alexa Grasso. As I've been saying the whole time, it's just free legacy for Valentina. I mean, Alexa Grasso I don't think is that dangerous for someone like Valentina. Alexa Grasso's best path to victory really is in the striking, but Valentina Shevchenko is a better striker than Alexa Grasso. So, I don't know, maybe Alexa Grasso looks to use the wrestling. That's how you beat Valentina Shevchenko, as kind of proven by Jennifer Maia when she won that round against Shevchenko by taking her down. And then when Tyler Santos took her down a couple of times in that fight too, and arguably even won the fight, she used the wrestling and also the grappling. That's how you beat Shevchenko. You've got to be a wrestler or a grappler, which is why I would pick Erin Blanchfield. At this point of Valentina's career, which is getting a little bit older, I think that's this point of the career where I think a wrestler or a grappler could beat Valentina and pull off a big upset. But I do think Alexa Grasso just doesn't have that level of grappling to threaten Shevchenko, so I don't think she gets it done. I've got Shevchenko by decision as well. Shevchenko's not really finishing girls. I was really confident that she was going to finish Lauren Murphy, and she ended up taking her to the 4th round. But to be fair, Lauren Murphy's got a chin on her, dude. We just saw Jessica Andrade dominate her. She did finish Jessica Andrade too in a dominant fight, but I just don't see her finishing Grasso. I think it's going to go 5 rounds, 50-45. Maybe one judge gives like a 49-46. So I think Shevchenko's just going to win all 5 rounds. Now the big one, alright? I got Jon Jones versus Cyril Gane. I do have Cyril Gane, sorry. I've got Gane, man, and a lot of people are saying stuff like, man, like people that are picking Gane don't know who Jon Jones is. I'm very well aware of who Jon Jones is. I was watching UFC when Jon Jones was kind of coming out of the end of his great era. It was kind of like in the... it was kind of, I think it was like early... It was late 2015, early 2016. I kind of started watching, so I did miss watching live the first Daniel Cormier fight, but I did end up watching the OSP fight, and then obviously the second one, this and that. But I do know who Jon Jones is, but I'm picking Gane, okay? And I've got a few reasons for that. Jon Jones, man, I feel like the people that he beat, you know what I mean? They're like the older era of fighters. And now these newer guys, man, these newer guys that come in, they've made them look a lot more human. Like Thiago Santos took him to a split decision. Dominic Reyes arguably beat him. He couldn't get down and hold down Dominic Reyes. He couldn't really do the same sort of thing to Thiago Santos either. I think Cyril Gane, man, I think he's going to be preparing for this. A lot of people have seen that tweet of him saying he doesn't train, but that was clarified to be earlier in his career, so he has actually been training the whole time. I think Gane's he's slick on the feet too. Like Reyes was catching Jones on the feet. You know what I mean? Jones was throwing out his huge reach advantage in a jab, and Reyes was countering him with uppercuts and hooks. And I just think on the feet, I think Gane's got him. Then I think on the ground, it's a completely different story. If Jon Jones takes down Cyril Gane, Gane's gonna be in trouble. But I think he's gonna be practicing that takedown defense. He's gonna be working that wrestling. I think he's going to keep the fight on the feet, and I think he's going to beat Jon Jones. Unreal. Dude, I want Jon Jones to win so bad, though. I really do, because I want him to win, and then I want him to fight Stipe Miocic. But I do have Gane, man. I do know who Jon Jones is, okay? I do know who Jon Jones is. But the thing is his recent performances have not been the same as his much older performances. You know what I mean? Like, He's just not the same. He just hasn't been proven to be the same, I guess. But I got Gane decision. I think he's going to beat John Jones up on the feet, man. I think Gane's got the advantage on the feet. I think Jones has a massive advantage on the ground, but Gane, in my opinion, beat Francis Ngannou as well. So Gane's technically undefeated himself, and also should be the champion. But I've got if the judges at UFC 270 had any understanding of how fights should be scored, they would have given Gane the 5th round. But I do think Gane beats Jones. Oh, dude, I really want Jones to win, though. Come on, please use the wrestling Jones. Just do it, dude. Wow, this is going to be a good card. I'm going to be live streaming during the card, too. Sorry, guys, I'm just tired because I've been studying all week. It's tough, but it's tough being me. I'll see you in the next one, then. Thank you guys so much. I'll be live streaming during the card, fight companion, all this and that's going to be a good time. I'll see you in the next one.